Hi boys and girls, today we're going to overview your biography research report. We do this every year in 6th grade. I know you've done research papers in the past, so this is no different, and you will need these skills for every grade level that you go into. Junior high, high school, and college, you will always have to do research of some kind, so we want to make sure we don't skip that this year, even though you guys are at home. Now, it will look a little bit different because you are at home, so I will point out those differences, and you guys even get to do something a little bit more than last year's class got to do because you guys are at home. So let's take a look. You are going to research somebody, so you're going to write a biography. And we've been talking about this all year because you did an autobiography on yourself, and I always told you at the end of the year, you guys are going to get to research somebody, and that genre is called biography. You're going to write about the life of somebody else. Now, last year we did a scientist. This year I just changed it to a famous person, but more specifically, a famous person of your choice who has made a positive contribution to the world. You cannot just pick a YouTuber, you cannot just pick an athlete or a movie star. They have to have made a positive contribution to the world, and your parents must approve it, and I have to approve it. And if one of us says no, then you'll need to pick somebody else. And there are plenty of people that have made positive contributions to the world. So this year you guys can handwrite it or type it, whatever's easier for you. Usually we have it typed, but if it's easier for you to handwrite it, that's fine. And the whole purpose of this paper is, again, so you know how to apply research techniques, how to express what you're learning through multi-paragraph reporting. This will be just like you did your autobiography, an introduction, the beginning of their life, the middle of the life, end of their life, and then the conclusion. And I hope that you enjoy learning about somebody. Now, I suggest don't research somebody that you've already researched. I had a habit of that growing up. I did the same people for projects in school, or same science project. I know I did one twice, so I learned less. So do somebody different than you did last year. So your requirements, the biggest thing is that you need to find your research, and usually we require a book, but this year obviously I don't want to make you go to the library. So you're going to use 3 websites, but again, those need to be trustworthy. But you can use more than 3 websites because you don't want to get all of your information from one website. You want to make sure that you're cross-checking and making sure that your information is the same. You may find a contradiction and then more research is needed. You will need to send me your links so I make sure that it's something legitimate. There's lots of false information out there, or just websites that, classrooms can make up their own websites. Regular people can who may not have the authority to make legitimate informational websites. So just send them to me. I'm going to give you 3 great examples in just a minute. I wanted to say one more thing though. Some of you guys do have books at home already of people. You may even have an actual set of encyclopedia. I don't, but you guys might. Or you may be visiting people like grandma, grandpas that do have it. So you're welcome to use those. Just let me know. Our school library is open, and she has a great selection of autobiographies because we do this every year. So if you're able to come in, if your parents are okay with that, you're welcome to get a book. Or you could call her ahead of time and say, hey, I'm researching Helen Keller. Do you have any books on her? That way you don't waste a trip if she doesn't have anyone or any books on that person. Okay, so I'm going to stop there, and I'm going to show you the 3 websites that I have for you guys. And I will send them. They're not in this document that you guys took home with you or are looking at on RenWeb, but I'll send them in an email. Or you can write them down as we're going. All right, so the first one would be Encyclopedia Britannica, and I'm going to move my box so you can see it. Okay, Britannica.com, Encyclopedia Britannica. I told you guys this was the Google of my time. You can ask your parents. If we wanted to research somebody or something, we went to the encyclopedia, the set of encyclopedias. So you would just search. This is a reputable site. This is, again, what we've been using for many, many years, for decades. So let's put Thomas Edison. And it'll give you some other choices. He's an American inventor. and it'll give you information. And for the most part, it's in chronological order like you're going to write yours. Okay? And they have other links for you to click on that may give you some more information. If you wanted to go into more detail about something, you could. And they'll give you some information about that. Okay. The next one will actually give you an amazing list. So if you're thinking, I don't even know who I want to do, or I really want to do somebody that nobody else is going to research, I would look here. So this next one is called Ducksters. I don't know if you've seen it before. I'm going to move my box up. Okay. Ducksters.com. And they have lots of things on there, so just make sure you're in the biography section. Okay, I'm going to bring it back down. Let's see. So this looks a little bit different. I'm going to click on biography just to make sure. All right, there we go. So, man, if you want a world leader, they give you options. They give you categories. If you want to do a civil rights hero, you can pick civil rights, you can pick African Americans. There are specific people that are there. Explorers, lots of them. Some of them you might remember from 4th grade. I know we learned about some of those when I taught 4th grade. There's artists, inventors, scientists, women leaders. There's historical biographies if you wanted to research somebody you learned about in history this year. This list is so extensive. In the back of the packet I gave you, there is actually a list, but it's very small. But you can just come here and maybe click on a few people. You may even want to pick someone you've never heard of. I mean, I suggest that. It's so great to learn about somebody new, something new. So just the list it just keeps going. So if you want to pick a musician, there are some down there. There are sports biographies too, and entertainment biographies, but again, they can't just be a great baseball player, and that's why you're going to write about them. They have to have made a positive contribution to the world. So that would take out some people in history. You guys can tell that Adolf Hitler was on this list, so I don't want any Adolf Hitler research papers, even though we talked about him a lot this year. All right, so that's a huge one that I suggest everybody go to. The next one is biographies.com, right? We're writing a biography, so biography.com. Let's see if I can get that up there. Okay, biography.com. Now, if you want a category, you can click there. I wouldn't go to crime and scandal, but if you just want to search somebody, you would do people. So I'm going to put in someone that I did a report on when I was a kid. Okay. Helen Keller. So there's several different things you can click on, and because she's more modern, you could click on a video. If you choose somebody that's still living, then you could probably find a video on them. Okay, so it's going to give me her information, just like the other websites would. Okay, and again, you can find more information by the links within. If you're still not sure and you want some ideas, you can go to History and Culture. And they're going to give you specific stories, and some of them are kind of what's going on right now or things that are familiar. So Dr. Seuss, Mary Todd Lincoln, they had several, like these are kind of quarantine based, just because that's what's going on right now. But once you click on, let's do, Florence Nightingale, you could click on her name and it'll take you to her biography. So if you just want to get some ideas, you can. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. I'm going to go back to Helen Keller. No, I don't not recommend that you guys just Google them, but you're going to get a whole bunch of stuff. So once you've gotten your 3 good websites, then I would say Google them. And the reason I say that is because some of our people that you're going to choose fall into categories, if that makes sense. For example, Helen Keller, when I searched her, I found there was a website that I did not recognize, so I clicked on it, and it is a website for American Foundation for the Blind. So they had some information, and of course, because that is what she's known for. She was blind and deaf, and she was able to communicate, and she was able to teach. So there's a whole nother website that I wouldn't have found otherwise. If you want to do Rosa Parks, there will be some civil rights websites that may come up, or women in history websites that might come up. So I wouldn't Google first. I would go to the 3 websites that I gave you, find your person, and if you feel like you need more, then Google them. But again, you're going to get lots of stuff if you just put in someone's name. Okay? So make sure that you send me those links. But again, you're able to get books. I recommend them. If you can, it's because you're going to need to do that in the future when everything opens back up. But for now, we'll do websites. One change that I'm willing to make this year, let me go back to our packet. Let's see, can I make it bigger? No. Sorry guys, I'm really popular. I need to remember to turn my sound off when I am recording. So I do not mind during this time, since you guys are home and you're on YouTube anyway, if you look for documentaries to help you just visualize what you're reading about, or maybe for information. You should be able to find all the information you need. And we're not writing a book. We're just writing 5 paragraphs about somebody famous. So you don't need 8 different sources or 2 documentaries that are an hour long each. But there are lots of reputable documentaries, history.com or biography.com on YouTube. If you have the History Channel, you're welcome to look there. And Amazon Prime Video has a lot of documentaries. If you guys have that, and if they're Prime, they're just free to watch. You will have to cite them. We will have to write down them as part of your resources, which is fine, but you're able to do that. And I'll make sure that gets emailed to your parents. So you can handwrite or type your paper. You're going to have a bibliography page. That's where we cite all the sources, the outline, which is what you guys did for yours, for your autobiography, all your rough drafts. You may just have one, and then of course the final report. There are due dates for the project, but that's just to help keep you guys on track. Again, if anything's late, you will not get marked off, but this way you can pace yourself. It must be composed, revised, and edited by the student, and you can have help from your parents, but I don't want your parents to write your paper. They're very busy right now. This is for you to do. And I'm here. We can Zoom. I might even have once a week a Zoom meeting for anyone that's having a hard time, so I can help you, because that's my job. So make sure that you use your time wisely. We're not going to be doing anything else. We'll be done with Anne Frank. By the time you guys watch this, this is it. If you choose to do the exhibition for the Anne Frank, then that's kind of on your own time. That's why it's extra credit. But this is just what we're doing for the next month. So you shouldn't have any problem in finishing it. And make sure that you follow the outline format that I give you. Be helpful when you turn it in. So you're going to have an introductory paragraph, just like we did in your autobiography. At the end of that, it's going to have a thesis statement. And you're going to tell me what you're going to write about. Just like you did. I'll explain my beginning, my middle, and the current part of my life. Although we're going to make it a better sentence than that. You'll have at least 3 paragraphs about your person, using transitional sentences, and I'll show you an example of a student from last year. And of course your conclusion paragraph. So you're going to want to start looking for quotes that you have about your person. I even gave you a section for that on your plan, because that just makes your paper stronger. If you have quotes from presidents or from other famous people, other scientists about your scientist, and they're saying that they were a hard worker and they reinvented the science of this, or this invention changed the world, that just makes your paper stronger. So you may not be able to find quotes, but I believe for the most part, because if you choose somebody far enough in the past, there have been lots of research about them and papers about them, so you want to look for quotes. And you want to get a really good sense of the person that you choose. So again, that's where maybe the documentaries or YouTube videos might come in handy, just to get a full picture of the person that you're researching. Okay, I want this to be fun for you too. And of course, the last page has to have your bibliography. If you do not give me a bibliography saying the sources that you used, then your entire paper has been plagiarized. You're saying that those are your words. So we cannot do that. In college, if it's plagiarism, you can get kicked out of your school for that. So we must teach you guys how to cite sources early on. It's, to be honest, it is the least fun part of this project, but I actually think it'll be easier with me teaching you this way versus having 20 of you guys in class with a bunch of different books and websites, so this might actually be easier. But we must be sure that we have that, okay? And there's a certain way that we do that. We're going to follow the MLA format, which I'll explain to you later. Okay? You're going to get 2 grades for this, a writing grade. Hopefully that's obvious. And then a language arts test grade based on 100 points for the responsibility rubric. And those are just the due dates, which technically, as long as you do everything, you'll get 100. Just make sure that you let me know. Please be neat. If you're handwriting anything, please make sure it's dark and clear. Larger, if you can, write larger than you usually do when you send it in. Things should be complete, attention to detail, and a noticeable effort. Again, I'm going to teach you guys how to paraphrase and summarize what you're reading. We're not just going to take sentences from those websites and stick them in your paper and call it a day. We're not going to do that because that's another form of plagiarism. Okay? So I want to make sure that there's effort in what you guys do. And that's where watching the video about them might give you a more summarized picture of what's going on. Okay, so here's the responsibility due dates. I would like to know who you're doing by this Friday, the 24th. Feel free to let me know earlier. Anybody can do, we can have more than one student researching the same person. That's fine. It's not a big deal. Let me know your 3 links by the 29th of April or more links. If you're going to use a documentary, you can let me know anytime. And straight from there, usually we do note cards. I don't know if you did them in 5th grade, but last year in 6th grade we used note cards, and you had to have like 50 note cards with your information. We're not doing that this year, so we're jumping straight to the outline, which I think is faster and easier. So just, if you only have 1 paragraph done, great, send it to me. And then a couple days later, send me some more. A couple days later, send me some more. And then finally, when your outline is all done, and I'll show you what that looks like, then send it in. Okay, and then you're going to type it. And because everything's going to, well, if you're typing it from the beginning, you can copy paste into your rough draft, and then we can kind of edit it from there. So I'm a writing person. I like to handwrite and then go type, so it just kind of depends how you guys are. Some of you just like to type, and that's fine too. And then you're going to send me the rough draft with your bibliography. So I make sure that's correct. And then your final report, once you send it in to me, then I can give you some edits on it. And then your parents can edit it, and then we can get your final draft. So that's just an easy 100, an easy A if you guys do all that. So here is your outline. It looks just like the one for your autobiography, except there's some more space. So you can write lots. So you're going to have your background about your person, maybe a fact we never knew, or a quote from somebody else about that person, or a quote from your person, by your person. That kind of sets up your whole paper. All right, your topic sentence will tell us who you're researching. Your plan will tell us that we're going to learn about the beginning of their life, the middle of their life, and then the end of their life if they have passed, and their contributions to society. All right, so early life. I just gave you some extra space. You can have more than this. Here's the middle life. And again, that's going to be a whole sentence, letting us know that we're about to read about the middle life. And I will show you an example. Later life and accomplishments. Now, their accomplishments might have come earlier in life. For the most part, it's after college when is the time that they usually have those accomplishments, but it's different for everybody. And then I gave you a section for quotes. I don't want you to skip that. If you can find quotes about them or buy them that would be relevant to your paper, I'd write them down. But do make sure if it's from somebody else, let's say Thomas Edison had said something about Helen Keller for some reason, or I'm thinking of Alexander Graham Bell because he was one of the ones that was actually, he had interacted with her. If he said something about her and her perseverance through her disability, make sure you put his name. Whoever it is that made the quote, make sure you put their name too. Okay. And our conclusion, which would be similar to your introduction, but different quotes, you're restating what a great effect this person had on the world, or in science, or in medicine, or in philanthropy, whatever it is, that'll be your conclusion. Okay? And that would be the end of your packet, or the outline. At the end, you have just some ideas. Again, it must be approved by me. All right, so these are just some examples. Almost all of them were done last year. This one, though, this person was not done last year, but let's see. I don't think Galileo was done last year. I had 2 people write about Jane Goodall. Several people did James Naismith, the inventor of basketball, which I know you guys didn't get a chance to do this year. The Wright brothers, our school textbook has did a really good job of explaining their life, so I could get that to you guys if you needed it. Okay? So here's just another version of the due dates. It's due Friday 22nd, but in an email that you guys are going to get, you technically have until the 29th of May to get everything in because that's the new last day of school. But we are going to work on something after this, so you don't want to procrastinate too much. Or at all, preferably. All right? So this is just an overview of your paper. I don't want to make you dizzy by scrolling up too fast. Okay? This is just the overview. We'll get into some more details because we're going to need to, one thing I forgot to mention is we want to make sure you know where your information is coming from. So if you do write a fact about when they were born, I want to know which site that comes from in case I have to go back and say, you know what, I don't think that's right. Which one of your websites did you use? So we'll add that. So over the next few weeks, I'll be giving you videos on how to research, what to choose, what to keep. And we never want to plagiarize, so we have to put things in our own words, reform sentences. Okay, I'm really excited for this. I learn a lot every time even in 4th grade and 5th grade, when we do research papers, I get to learn about what you guys are learning. So I'm going to get to learn about 60 new famous people that have made a contribution to the world. So I'm excited to learn. So there will be more information coming out, and I will email you guys those 3 websites. And then you can start letting me know as soon as today about which famous person you would like to research. Have a blessed day.